So, AI Cohesion Paradox and why a team cooperate less and less when they get AI empowered, and what it's mean for the social architecture of the AI companies and what's to do with it. So, a lot of researchers actually show that when we heavily introduce the AI and copiloting, people start relying less and less on other people. So instead of going, ask, and cooperate, they just go to the swarm of own agents and solve problem with them. Actually, the real researchers for now also show that this strategy reintroduce departments and silos because the cooperation weaken not only in the team, but it's weakened between the departments. And yeah, so the era of the isolated departments gets back. And also, we already talked about the problem that right now you could be multifunctional because the AI could close some missed gaps. So instead of going and finding somebody who is responsible for some other areas like design or some other stuff, you just go to the AI and solve the problem. And it's a deeper problem of burnout that we already talk, and it's a deeper problem of proper evaluation of the work that you're not proficient. So it's a deeper paradox, but actually people have the tendency to cooperate more with the agents than with each other, and it's actually creating the huge problem for the AI-driven companies. So more and more AI-driven companies is the solo founders, so they don't feel this problem, or it's extremely small teams that have couple of AI heavy engineers. And even the problem of this AI heavy engineers already create the friction, because right now the old term that human is not the island actually is not true, because right now we have the islands and they heavily isolated and they have their own agents. And sometimes we have this old paradox of the railway building when we try to connect two railways and they not match because we don't manage well the integration, because the integration heavily rely on the communication. And the multi-agent systems, it's relatively new, and we struggle to connect the swarm of agents of the different people and hand over work uh, to them. And it's still the question of the discovery, and you could take a look to my material about the scalability wall with the MD files and how to build the database of the common project memory that's partially solve the context management for the multi-agentic systems. But now we have the problem then every human have the little agentic system. Quite often the different team members use different approaches, even if they follow the common team structure and agreements. For example, the spec-driven development, they still differ in a prompts, in the prompts, in approaches, in a ways of thinking, actually in a mental frameworks. And quite often we have this problem that we're not able to integrate the work of each other even in a super small team, because if you're talking about the coding, sometimes we have this paradox that agents heavily rewrite existing code base and make the integration almost impossible. And then we start doing some hardening and guardrails and explaining the agents that they need to be careful, or we try to solve it in a more management way that really decouple to the isolated features that do not overlap in a code base, and it's also in fact the architecture and in general increase amount of code that are generated by the agents, because we somehow needs to make sure that they not step into each other toys. So even the islands of the human and artificial agents need some kind of social architecture. So when we talking about the social architecture, we talking about the common context, we talking about common understanding, common guiding rules, and how to make sure that we respect the work of each other, and we making sure that we not redoing the work of each other. And in the coding, it's quite big problem. But even bigger problem, as I already mentioned, we have in a teams, because yeah, especially for the introverted team members, AI doesn't judge, AI doesn't fire back, AI not criticize you, and it's yet another problem that I wrote in my book, Clarity Engineer, and what's to do with the AI-driven development, that we lose these internal critics in the teams, and this genius of Claude says that we doing the best ever possible work, and then we losing also the ability to peer review. So right now we on this coherence paradox, that right now we have a lot of isolated islands, we have the broken communication, and this problem is getting deeper and deeper, even if we keep the old uh, uh, habits to have cross peer reviews and common stand-ups and all other things. The cognitive architecture of the social interaction, it's quietly changing, because in general we have the big problem of the cognitive technical debt that also mentioned on my blogs and in my book, and it's a big challenge itself. But the social part and social architecture of the interaction in a team uh, also could impact the product on the long run. So the common understanding, common source of truth, relying on the expertise of the humans, struggle, because, as I mentioned, it's better to ask your agents that go and talk with Dave, that maybe not the best person in the world, and then why I should interact with him if I could interact with my cozy guy that's so nice to me. And then the integration of the features getting much harder, and we still haven't learned how to hurdle actually the agents and cross coordinate the agents. And actually it's the question, if you don't wants to interact with humans, how we could interact between the agents of these humans, and how we could connect the bridges of the people actually that drive these little tribes of agents, and how to make the agents actually cooperate with each other, how to give them the common understanding, how to give them the common goals, how to actually solve the the conflicts and they manage the expectations and make sense the promises that agents give to actually each other really happens. So right now we have the mixed social architecture because we have this isolated island that have the agent around us. We try to rebuild this to connect at least, if not the human with each other, then the agents with each other. And right now we not simply not there. So the most easiest part right now, we don't maybe know how to do it for the multi-agent systems, but we could do it in an old-fashioned way, right? So we could connect back the humans, force them to get to the agreement, align on the goals, and create the common context management systems. It's not only about technology, it's mainly about the interaction. So you need to agree what the common sense and common goals look like, and then you need to express it in your knowledge base or in your open spec or in your spec kit. Doesn't really matter what kind of methodology you use, and you need to connect these engines together. Also, it's a big question of the social interaction and autonomy because do we want to have the agents that have the common brain and do not argue with each other, or then they lose the part of the autonomy, and then we have more like a bit communistic society where everybody thinks the same, or we have totally independent, practically zero sharing agents that do on their own. But then is the question who will integrate the result of the work. So we have this hybrid society, actually, or hybrid teams, and these teams have the challenge of the social interaction and social interaction framework that needs to appear and needs to be designed to prevent the islands, to prevent the getting back to the department era, and we know that, but we need to really observe, collect the data, and reinvent the new interaction patterns between the humans and agents, and between the agents and agents, and between the human and human, and at least for human to human interaction, we have the couple of thousands of years of experience, but we have the tendency to fail on it and to connect in our own claves and talk to our imaginary friends. Because maybe they a bit nicer to us and our ideas, and it needs to be changed because if you the solopreneur that do everything himself, maybe it's not a problem for you at all. But you create the problem for future when you actually will get the people, and then you will meet the huge problem of the scalability that was not there before. And actually, it's completely new challenge for the scalability of the hybrid teams and that we never faced because the humans have the tendency to cooperate. Even the nerdy, introvertic guys in the glasses that usually do not like the parties and talk near the cooler, they still have some tendency to, you know, to talk from time to time, even I. But right now, we face the problem of completely different magnitude, and we need to redesign the social architecture of our own team to be able uh, to scale. it's a separate question if he needs to scale.